You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, General Hospital fans. You probably have heard the exciting news that Kelly Thiebaud is returning to the ABC soap. Of course, you know she played Britt Westbourne on and off from 2012 until when she was killed by Heather Weber, aka The Hook, in 2023. But the million-dollar question is, are they bringing Britt back from the dead, or is she coming on as a new character or somebody we've met before? It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about 5 reasons why Kelly should definitely return as the Britch. But first, hit that subscribe button if you're not following us. All right, so me, personally, super excited that Kelly Thiebaud is back home at General Hospital. She took off for a while to do some different things, a lot of traveling. After leaving when Britt died, Kelly was on the hit primetime series Station 19. She was Eva Vasquez. 10 episodes spanned across 2020 to 2022. Now she's back. And really soon, by the way. We don't have to wait forever because her first scenes air in July. So in just a few weeks, we'll have her back as Britt or somebody else, and I can't wait. If you don't recall, Britt was already dying of Huntington's disease on GH. She had inherited the illness from her wicked dad, Cesar Faison, and her symptoms were getting increasingly worse. Remember, Jason had gone to the doctor with her, all that stuff. And then to facilitate Kelly's exit so she could take that role on ABC series Station 19, they killed Britt. If you don't recall, she saved Jocelyn from The Hook, but in the struggle to save the teenager from crazy Heather Weber, Britt was scratched by that poisoned hook. It was a fast and relatively painless death, not a slow, painful death like she was facing with Huntington's. Plus, Britt died in her mom, Liesl Obrecht's arms. Now with Kelly coming back, everybody's clamoring to know, are they bringing back Britt against all odds, or is Kelly going to be a new character, or maybe a recast from the past rather than Britt? So recently, Kelly shared she's excited, grateful to be back at General Hospital. She promised a wild ride for fans. Check out her video post about her return to hear it in her own words.
Hi, everyone. Didn't know that I was going to get to talk about this so soon, as I literally just started back at work this week, but the cat's out of the bag. I'm back on General Hospital. Very, very excited. So grateful to get to be there again and come back and entertain y'all. And it's going to be a wild ride. I'm so excited for y'all to see what the storyline is and how they're bringing me back, in what capacity, all of the things I can't talk about, but I'm very excited. And I'll be on your television screens in July. Woohoo! Thank you for all the love and support.
So she's clearly excited for everybody to see what her storyline is and how GH is bringing her back and in what capacity. She just started filming for General Hospital the first week of June, and she's going to be back on screen in July. So just a few weeks until we see her. And Kelly used the phrase, bringing me back. So that's open to interpretation. She might just mean herself as an actress or the character of Britt. We'll have to wait and see, but I think it'd be great to have the Britch back real quick. Let's talk about why and how they could have Kelly playing Britt again. So just right off the bat, don't forget Dr. Liesl Obrecht, her brilliant and dangerous mother, could have found a way to save her precious Britta. And it would be cool to have Liesl back too, by the way. I also miss her mom. And they could say that Britt's alive because Dr. O used some twisted science to freeze Britt until she could cure her. Liesl has always been up to all kinds of wacky science and experiments. So I will say that it would be kind of distasteful because Britt also had Huntington's disease, which is incurable. However, General Hospital could say Britt was misdiagnosed and then Liesl froze her, cured her from the hook poison, and nursed her back to health and addressed whatever it was that was masquerading as Huntington's. They would have to say it wasn't Huntington's to bring her back, because otherwise, ugh. So second, another reason to bring Kelly back as Britt is a lot of people really liked her as Jason Morgan's love interest because he has had zero romance or action since he's returned, and Britt and Jason had great chemistry. Lots of people were shipping them, and Jason was absolutely crushed when he came back to Port Charles after himself being presumed dead and heard that Britt had been murdered. He was devastated, and he actually showed some emotion, which is kind of a big deal for Jason. So he'd be happy if Britt turned out to be alive. She had real feelings for Jason, and there was a lot of potential there. And now with Michael back, he's claimed his baby with Sasha, so Jason's free of that obligation, and I liked him with Britt. So third reason to bring Kelly back as Britt is to revive that mischievous fun with her bad boy bestie, Brad Cooper. Of course, he'd come running back to Port Charles if Britt turned up alive, and they could start making trouble again. You know, Brad's still up to shady antics. Last we saw, he had been blackmailing Portia and then got blackmailed by Portia. And last we saw Brad, he ratted Portia out to Drew for the ketamine. He paid off Brad, and then on Drew's orders, he left town. So he might come back when Britt's alive, or Brad might find Britt and then he brings her back. That'd be pretty cool. So a fourth reason to bring her back as Britt Westbourne is Emma Drake is now back in Port Charles. You may remember before Robin came back from the dead, Emma's dad, Patrick, was dating Britt, and his daughter, Emma, then played by Brooklyn Cesar, absolutely despised Britt. Emma could just smell the villainy on Britt, and let's be fair, the Britt was definitely rotten back then. And she couldn't stand Emma at first. Britt called Emma a little brat, when really she was just grieving the loss of her mom, Robin Scorpio, presumed dead at the time. But over time, Emma and Britt bonded, and they got close, and they cared about each other a lot. But then Britt betrayed Patrick by stealing Lulu's embryo and impregnating herself. Britt then claimed it was her and Patrick's son. She named him Ben, and then later tried to switch it around and claim it was Nicholas's son. And then, of course, the baby went back to Lulu. So Emma might have some things to say to Britt now that she's all grown up, and that could be fun. And last but certainly not least, if Kelly's playing her old character back from the dead, it would rattle Rocco and Lulu. You may remember little baby Ben, born from Lulu's stolen embryo, is actually Rocco Falconieri. Yeah. If you weren't watching then or forgot, Britt birthed him. So Rocco might give Britt a whole lot of teen attitude, and Lulu would be furious to see her face. So Britt's return could be really soapy for her and Lulu and Rocco and Emma and Jason and many others. But again, you know, bringing Kelly Thiebaud back as Britt Westbourne is really problematic because of the Huntington's disease diagnosis. And GH cannot, in good conscience, pretend to cure the incurable without ticking people off. The only way to ethically bring Kelly back as Britt is to say she was misdiagnosed and had something else. But there are other things. For instance, Wilson's disease is another genetic disorder that can be mistakenly diagnosed as Huntington's, and that disease is curable. So if they want Kelly to return as Britt, there is a way to do it tastefully with a medical explanation for the Huntingtons. It's not bringing her back from the hook poison. That's standard soap stuff. It's bringing Britt back from death when she had a real life terminal illness. That's the problem. So I still kind of think she's going to be a recast or someone new, and we're going to talk about that later this week in another video. But bottom line, no matter who Kelly ends up playing, absolutely thrilled to have her back, probably as excited as she is to be back.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.